That was a botched start. Hello, my chunsters. My name is the Chun, and it's time to have some Not hun. That would be bad. Do not have any hun. Have some fun with Host Pro 2.0, episode 27. Don't have Marcus to speak. Truth be told as well, the topics I have got, I haven't had any time to prepare anything. So I just went with some topics I have a little bit to say off the top of my head anyway, so I can kind of ramble, cobble together, blag a podcast, because today ran late, didn't get home in enough time to really sort the episode. In fact, I was so crap, I didn't even have my microphone in the right place to record this episode. Hey, so that's for the botched start. Now, I'm going to see if I can add the stream to the comment tracker, because if I can, that would make things really good for me, because then I can talk to you. However, I have my worries, because in fairness, the whole idea of adding sources to the comment tracker doesn't seem to be working. All right, let's just try to paste that again. Whoops, the source already exists, but it's not showing. Anyway, never mind. I'm going to actually, once this show finishes, I'm going to look up what's wrong with that, why I can't seem to do it, what I'm doing wrong. Anyway, today's show, I have my running notes down here. Not much use to me down there. I'm going to put them up there, because I'm not going to need to type anything. I don't think Marcus will be joining us. It might be, but I don't know. I doubt it. That's just another thing. So I've got my movie fights inspired topic. Which franchise should die forever? Because they're doing that this week. So I figure, you know what? I'm just going to give my answer and see if you guys like it or not. I'm going to talk about WWE 2K16 because got more news about that. I've got Forza Motorsport 6 because I've been looking up that recently and got some things to talk about when it comes to Forza Motorsport 6. I've got some Would You Rathers. Well, I haven't got them written down here. I'm just going to open up the Reddit, see if there's anything good on it. Then we're going to do Ronda Rousey versus Cyborg. That has been announced, and that sounds like an epic fight. We also have talk about the McLaren 650S replacement, which is going to be called the P14. So we've got all that to look forward to, but for now, let's get on with the franchise that should die forever. Now, in fairness, to me, I didn't have to think too hard about this. Which movie franchise should die forever? Now, for me, I don't think it should be a bad franchise, right? I think that's what people want to hear. I think people want to hear me slag off a franchise and say it's really shit, it should never do another one. No, that's not the attitude I'm taking. I'm going to take an attitude to killing off a franchise which is as good as it is, doesn't need another movie, no spin-offs, no nothing, because it's almost perfect. For me, the answer popped into my head so easily. Harry Potter, right? We don't need another Harry Potter movie. That series is rounded off, and it's good as it is, and it's right there. We do not need another spin-off to Harry Potter. We don't need another Harry Potter movie. We need to know what happened in the years that he was growing up to become an adult. Don't need to know any of that. We've already got the 7 years at Hogwarts, but 6 years plus a year sort of hopping around, doing some traveling, finding some Horcruxes. The story is right, round, and complete. We have a young kid who doesn't know anything about much. I mean, let's be honest, Harry Potter doesn't seem to know virtually anything, apart from the function. He doesn't even know the function of a rubber duck. I mean, I'm just saying, Arthur Weasley, what is the function of a rubber duck? Harry's face. So, you know, we went from the kid who knows nothing. He goes to school, and he turns out a well-rounded adult who can defeat the most powerful wizard of all time. Well, the second most powerful wizard of all time. Technically speaking, Voldemort never beat Dumbledore, so we never knew if he was more powerful than Dumbledore. I'm going to guess no, because Voldemort's a prick. He's a bastard, and that's why he's not more powerful than Dumbledore. But yeah, I mean, it had layers added to it, and everything got a satisfying tie-up at the end of every movie. I can't think of any mysteries in Harry Potter that didn't get tied up to a satisfactory way, or at least I can't think of one anyway. There probably is one, if there is one, put it in the comment description, and then we can all have a little topic next week of how Chun's wrong about everything. But I can't think of one off the top of my head. It's just a really nice and satisfactory movie franchise, and I think adding to it can only make it worse. The thing is, but you see this happen a lot with franchises, where you have a nice, well-rounded franchise that starts nicely and ends nicely with all the loose ends tied up. And then you see franchises which just go on and on and on. And as they go along, the franchise just gets so convoluted and so different from what it was when it started. And sometimes they even go and mess with the originals. Like Terminator Genesis messed with the original. And now I figure it always makes the original obsolete and the original trilogy obsolete. It's like, oh no, because we're going to completely change everything. It's like, it would be like adding to Back to the Future. Back to the Future is nice and complicated as it is. Adding to that, you'd only convolute the storyline and mess up the plot. Like in some ways, Star Wars, the original, the prequels did that when they screwed up Episode 4, because in Episode 4, R2-D2, when C-3PO doesn't even have a clue who Obi-Wan Kenobi is, and yet in the prequels he helps Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's like, what's up with that? So the prequels just ballsed up and created continuity errors in the original, which, if you find out about those continuity errors, ruin the originals. So I reckon if there were more Harry Potter spin-offs, the same thing would happen. So I'm going to say kill off Harry Potter right now. It's good as it is. Let's just leave it good rather than ruin it. And that's my take on that. For now, I'm just going to take a look and refresh the comment stream, see if there's anything. I should probably be watching this on the YouTube page, actually, just to make sure I don't miss anybody's comments. Yeah. Ooh, somebody's commented on it. Are you going to watch? Yes. Oh, okay. That's not a comment that appears. Yay! So I haven't missed anybody's comment. Yeah. So I've said what I need to say about Harry Potter. Yeah. I just think that's a franchise which is good as it is, and I just don't want to see it get convoluted and ruined, and a load of movies add continuity errors to it. Because, to be fair, that would just be bad. Time for a sip of coffee. Oh yeah, Lidl's plug. I don't know if I've already plugged this before from Lidl's. This is Linessa bottled coffee, which in my opinion is better than the Starbucks bottled coffee. They're nice and sweet. This one's got 80% less fat, virtually no fat in it at all, to be honest. Not for coffee anyway. And it tastes really good. And you don't even need to warm this up. This just tastes right. It tastes nice and sweet, and it's beautiful. Also, this Carrick Glen flavored water is also pretty good. Now, you know what's good about these things? Flavored water. For that much flavored water from Volvic, you'd probably have to pay like £1 a bottle, right? I mean, it's expensive flavored water. Don't know why. It's just water with a bit of flavoring in it. But this, you can buy 6 bottles of that for $1.29, which puts it at about 20p a bottle, which is cheaper than a single bottle of water. What? The value is brilliant. And it tastes strong. So there you go. That's more Lidl's plugging. One day I might reveal to you why I actually plug Lidl's stuff, but not today. Today's not the day. One day they will sponsor the show, damn it. One day, just one day, they will sponsor this show. I don't know. Actually, you know what? I really don't think they will. I doubt it. Anyway, that's okay. So WWE 2K16. I've already talked about this a little bit last week, and I've talked about it quite a fair bit because I'm quite interested in this. I'm one of those people that didn't think WWE 2K15 was shit. And quite a few people thought, oh, shit, it's got nothing in it, it's crap. I mean, the thing is, just because something's not got that much depth to it doesn't mean it's shit. Because what was there was actually quite good. The stamina system added depth to the matches, so you couldn't just go flat out all the time. I thought the chain wrestling was good. I thought the graphics were actually a step up. I like that. I also like the RNG moments. I like the extra animations, just added much more depth and fluidity to a match. There are more commentary lines for individual wrestlers, and I like the fact that when they talk about, say, Randy Orton's RKO for one commentary line, there's like another 4 extra 3 layers of commentary about the RKO to come on, so they follow up what they were saying. That's kind of nice. The special effects are just much better. There's a bit more attention to detail, like the Uso's entrance, Wyatt's entrance, all feel sufficiently unique. And it's just a fluid game. I found the game ran quite in a nice, fluid manner. Sure, there are things that needed fleshing out, but what was there was good. So WWE 2K16 is a game I am quite interested in. I am actually rather intrigued to see how this game does, because if it can build upon WWE 2K15, it's going to be good. The one thing that I did find a bit wrong with 2K15 is some of the nuances, let's just say. Some of the nuances just weren't quite there. The Undertaker, as he raises the lights, still no thunder and lightning sound effect. Why? I don't know. I mean, that's been absent for years, and it's just something that should happen, because it's been happening for basically every year since he's been back. And it's every year since he's been back, still not in the game. Other stuff as well, like Randy Orton's entrance music. Oh yeah, when it's going, oh yeah, boys is crying. There's like a sound, there's like a bass sound effect that goes, doom, doom, doom. And when you watch TV, the lights all shine white as it does that in time with the music. It's hard to do with my voice, like really imitate what it is. But anybody who knows wrestling will know what I'm on about. And in the game, it's just not in sync. So, I mean, there's always been a few little details that aren't quite right. But with this game, WWE 2K16, admittedly, you haven't seen much gameplay from it yet, and you haven't really heard that much. We've heard the 120-plus unique character roster. We've heard, I don't know, various graphical improvements. We've heard cloth simulation. We've heard good stuff. But we haven't seen it in action. Now we have, thanks to IGN, they released a post where you can actually see some gameplay a bit. But the most important video on that website, as far as I am concerned, was Finn Balor's entrance. Because, let's be honest, Finn Balor's entrance is the ultimate combination of wrestler movements with musical interaction and sound effects. Special effects. The smoke, the way he rises out of the smoke. The way Finn Balor moves, the way that it goes dun, 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 and the whole arena goes white. And I'm pleased to be able to tell you that, at least on Finn Balor's entrance, they nailed it. It looks fantastic. I've got to be honest. All the correct bits, is all perfect. The lights go white and shine. Oh, and they get the timing right. The timing on his entrance is right, and he actually looks like he's doing the whole proper crawling thing. Everything, it's all timed right. And it's like, and that's the other thing as well. People were saying when Adrian Neville's entrance on 2K15, they're like, oh no, the timing's not right. He's supposed to do that not trying to hold my mind. And it's like, admittedly, they worked on it and then made a secondary entrance. But the truth is, 2K16 is looking more like they've got those intricacies in effect. And the cloth simulation so far does look good. You know, I mean, people criticize how when Bray Wyatt enters and his body wobbles, the bottom of his shirt sort of moves with his body as if it's just all one skin. And I'm pleased to be able to tell you that doesn't look like it's going to be the case in 2K16. Seth Rollins' entrance, everything sort of looks bang on. It looks like a game which has got the details right. And as wrestling fans, we like details. There's still a few more things I want to see. I want to see if they've actually done thunder and lightning effects on the Undertaker's entrance, because my God, it's about time that you get that bit right. I also hope they redo Randy Orton's lighting effect, so it actually goes doo doo. You know, it goes with the doos. No other way to put it, really. I really also hope that they redo Brock Lesnar's entrance as well, because Brock Lesnar at the moment in the game, he walks to the ring, jumps on the apron. And it's become a bit of a thing now on WWE TV where Brock Lesnar comes to the ring and then sort of circles the ring, almost stalking his prey. So I hope they build that into the game, because I like that part of it. I'd love to just have somebody standing in the ring, have Brock Lesnar then enter the ring and stalk them. I don't think this is going to happen. For some reason, I don't know why. It just doesn't seem like it's possible at the moment. I don't know why it's not possible, but it should be possible. I really want to see Roman Reigns coming down the steps of the arena, like rather than just appearing on ring level. I'd like to see that. For some reason, I don't think it's going to happen. I think the primary reason that doesn't happen is because I don't think they render the arena in full HD quality in the same way that they rendered the ring area. And I also believe they don't do it because of stuff like the NXT arena and WrestleMania, where the arena is bigger, or in NXT where there is no sort of steps to come down, because then they'd probably have a bit of a weird glitch where you can't just apply one animation to everything. And I think that's probably what they're doing. I think they do that basically to save themselves some time. But with the NXT arena, technically they should be able to... In theory, they should be able to do something about that, because if you think about it, the NXT arena never really changes. The NXT arena is the NXT arena. It's like the ECW arena. It's the same arena every time. So, in theory, from game to game, the NXT arena shouldn't change. So they could just do one animation for the NXT arena, and then that's it. And then work on a new animation for the more open area arenas. I'm just saying, little details like that would be kind of cool. You never know. They might actually have that sorted out for this game. We haven't seen every entrance yet. We've only seen Seth Rollins and Finn Balor and a bit of gameplay from the two of them. And what I can say is, at the moment, it looks a lot better because the gameplay still looks fluid. The animations on Finn Balor look spot on. It does look like Finn Balor. It looks like Finn Balor could have motion captured his moves, if I'm honest. Yet the signs are good. What I really want it to be is just a fleshed out 2K15, and at the moment they are talking about that. They're talking about. Before I quickly move on, I'm trying to remember what it said in the IGN report. I think they're talking about create an arena's back, create a title. I think is back. There's a few things which are coming back. Ooh, Marcus has replied. Oh dear me, Marcus is making me a proposition. Never mind, it's not bad. So yeah, where was I? I'm trying to. It would just be easier if I brought up the report, wouldn't it? So we can screen share it. Let's do that. Let's go to the IGN report and screen share it. IGN 2K16 PlayStation 4. Step into the ring. Deeper and deeper. The preview. Yes. Yes. Here we go. Okay. Right. Let's hit the screen share button. Yeah. There we go. I'm not going to actually screen share their gameplay because I don't think they'll be appreciative of that. I don't know. They'd say you're not allowed to do that. But as you can see from the picture there, I mean, that's the type of graphics we're talking about. Finn Balor does look. He looks right in this game. Yeah, so they're talking about challenging sims. There's something about Finn Balor's ring entrance. I'm going to quickly show you what I mean by the lighting effects. Also, it has a complete build-up. Where is it? Okay, got internet problems. It's not loading. Okay, I want to show you the lighting effects because I don't want to reveal too much on here. I don't want to reveal too much on here because I. Okay, here we go. This will do. Oh, you're gonna copyright this. There you go. There you go. No, I'm not going to risk copyright anymore. More transitions. Okay, so yeah, this is the bit I wanted. Yeah, down here. So my career, And apparently now you've got decisions to make, so you can do sort of interesting things, like you can attack people, form alliances, create rivalries of your own. It's sort of going into more detail. Plus, you go all the way to the Hall of Fame, so it's not just one WrestleMania main event and then you're done. I think it's going to be a much more complete experience, which is good. Apparently, you can do training exercises. There's a lot more you can do this time. That's it. Here we go. This is all the stuff. Yeah, create a show, create arena, create a championship are back, along with Create a Diva. The WWE Universe is improved, so you can now put wrestlers on multiple shows, which is cool because in real life they appear on multiple shows. They've got the JBL added to the commentary team. Ladder, handicap, and tornado tag matches are added back in. They say there's more than that on their own. They say more match types have been added, including ladder, handicap, tornado tag. So that would be a good thing, because handicap's one of those big matches that was missing. It's like in storylines, in WWE storylines, you see handicap matches used as punishments all the time. So it's better to have handicap matches back now. No loading screens between entrances, and improved ref and manager AI. So I think they can, because in 2K15, all they actually ever did was like interrupt things, if you know what I mean. What they did was like you go for a pin, manager breaks it up, and that was it. That's all the manager did. So they're now going to make it so the manager can pull the referee aside, so you can go for an illegal cheap shot with a chair or something. I don't know. Building more simulations. So all of that stuff is good, and I'm happy that I've actually went and did the screen share thing so I could remember everything. And I hope WWE doesn't pull us down for copyright, but I did try and show Finn Balor's entrance. Well, I tried to show the effects, so I could say it does does. I hope they don't copyright this. They might. You never know. It is a bit weird. Nobody's actually allowed to show gameplay or anything like that yet. There's kind of like an embargo where we're not allowed to talk about it or show you anything about it, apart from IGN, because they have like a special partnership. So with that said, let's swiftly move on to something which has not got an embargo on it. Forza Motorsport 6, because I love Forza Motorsport. Always have, to be honest. Forza Motorsport has always been a game that I've enjoyed, because I've always appreciated the graphics. I've always appreciated the fact they always seem to have a pretty good lineup of cars. Forza Motorsport 5 didn't, but that's because it was... I think Forza Motorsport 5 was hurt by the fact that it had to be there on launch, so they had to sort of like pull back a few things and not quite get it right. I think they would probably admit that if they were pushed to admit that, but that's all speculation. Yeah, they've always had quite a good lineup of cars, and they've always had pretty good graphics for the times. And the sound simulation, compared to like Gran Turismo, which is what I used to play a lot. I used to play like Gran Turismo quite a fair bit. And the sound on Gran Turismo is god-awful. So to go from Gran Turismo to Forza, it's like, oh, the engines actually sound like engines. Oh, this is beautiful. So Forza Motorsport 5 happened, and I was like, there's not enough grit. Every car sort of feels the same in an odd way. I was like, this is a bit disappointing. And I was like, the sound isn't quite as on point either. I was like, Fortunately, with Forza Motorsport 6, things do seem to be taking a turn for the better. There's going to be 450 plus unique cars on launch, which is a huge step up over the 200 that were in Forza Motorsport 5. So yeah, you're getting about twice the number of cars that are in Forza Motorsport 5. Good thing. Very good thing. You're also going to be getting rain, finally. I don't think it has transitional weather, though, which is a bit of a disappointment. It's either full on... But the rain that simulation that we've got is very, very good from the looks of it, because you've got standing water, you've got puddles forming, and yeah, it looks very good. The rain effects on the windows and everything also looks spot on. And from the videos I've seen, rain looks like it's going to be extremely difficult to drive in, which is good because rain should be difficult to drive in. I just hope they haven't gone too far down the roads of no grip, because in road, I hope what they've done is this. I hope they haven't made it so that road cars lose the same amount of grip in the wet as racing cars, because in real life, they don't. In real life, a road car will lose about 4 seconds a lap on the Top Gear track in the wet, where in a racing car you'll probably lose closer to 10 seconds. So I hope they simulate that, because road cars have more tread depth. They're built to deal with the wet, where racing cars just aren't so much. So I hope they've actually simulated that, because sometimes I worry that simulations just go too far with the wet. At least that's just a lot of the time in the wet when you play games, they feel like, well, they feel like a go-kart in the wet. And I'm just going to be honest, road cars don't lose grip to that dramatic an extent in the rain, because if they did, not everybody would die the moment there's a little drizzle. Because trust me, if the way people drive in the dry, how badly people drive in the dry, if they were driving in the wet, they'd all be dead the moment it rained. So obviously cars don't lose that much grip in the wet. You can still drive at a legal speed limit when it's wet, as the same as when it's dry. So I hope they don't do that. I hope they don't go too far. The other thing they've added is night racing, and it looks spectacular, because it is literally pitch black. It's literally, you can't see much further than what's beyond your headlights. So I can imagine driving on corners like Air Rouge is going to be really bloody scary, particularly if you have Morpheus, not Morpheus, that's PlayStation. Wait, what was it called again? I've completely forgotten the name of it. The virtual reality one. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. I'm too tired. I can't think of the name of it. But apparently that's going to be... Oh no, I've missed a comment. My comments aren't updating. Damn it. I know it's a bit late, but hi Max WWE Reviews, live PPVs, noticias y rumores. I've mispronounced your name. Did it appear in the comment tracker? No. I need to work out what that is. I do, because I owe it to you guys that I did to do that. Yeah, and yeah, I can imagine turning into Eau Rouge being like a complete nightmare. I can imagine it be like, particularly if you have, I can't think of what it's called now. I know it's not Project Morpheus, because that's a PlayStation one. Yeah, sorry, in too tired. But apparently Xbox One will have VR compatibility to some extent. So I can imagine nighttime racing with that virtual reality at Eau Rouge is going to be scary, because apparently the brain, when it does VR, is very quick to accept virtual limbs as its own. So you actually feel a sense of presence, which is important. A huge part of fear is a sense of presence, and I imagine that's going to be absolutely epic. So yeah, I must admit, I've also heard a bit of the sound, and it does sound very good as well, which is a positive thing. And in all fairness, Forza Motorsport 6 sounds looks like, provisionally, like it's going to be a return to form for Forza, and that's good, because I like Forza Motorsport. It's one of the reasons I still have my Xbox One, if I'm honest, because the Xbox One console is a bit shit. So Forza Motorsport 6 is one of those unique franchises which has really kept me on the Xbox One. So I'm happy that at this moment in time, Forza Motorsport 6 looks like a return to form. It's like, yes. And so yeah, that's cool. Right. Would you rathers? Now this is where the show always gets a little bit depraved. Let's go to the Reddit. Let's go to the Would You Rather Reddit and see what there is. Because the Would You Rather Reddit is always a very good source for depravity. So here we go. Let's take a look. What is there? What is there? Would you rather have the ability to read minds or have the ability to see the future? That's an interesting one. I'd probably rather have the ability to read minds, if I'm honest, because seeing the future, I don't know, what if you see a future you don't like? Nothing you can do about it. It's the future. So I would rather have the ability to read minds. I think the ability to read minds would be more useful, because you can sort of outwit people then. You'd never really lose an argument if you could read somebody's mind, because you can always be 3 steps ahead, if you know what I mean. So, and plus it'd be useful to be able to, if you're like in a fight, you can sort of read the fact that they want to punch you before it happens. So I think having the ability to read minds would have more uses than seeing the future, because if the future is the future is a set future. I don't know. I think if you could see the future that you would be seeing is the future that would happen if you took steps to prevent it, because that future would happen because it knows that that's complicated stuff that I'm not going to get too deep into. But I think you know what I'm trying to say. I think so. You know what I mean, right? Because if you go into the future, you see the future, you don't like it, and then you try and change it. And then sometimes I have a feeling that in the future you still have the ability to read minds, or you still have the ability to go into the future. So I don't know. I think in attempting to change it, you might make it happen, because you can. I reckon ability to read minds would just be better. Would you rather have world peace or $1 billion? $1 billion any day, because world peace. I don't know. I don't. Would you? I'm sorry. World peace sounds cool and all, but it would be boring. It just would. I don't know. World peace would be nice, but no, I'm gonna be selfish. I mean, I don't know. $1 billion. That is a lot of dollars. Sorry, world, but 1 billion is a lot of dollars. I could be a billionaire. I'd never run out of money. Or you could have a lot of people being nice to each other. Niceness. I don't know. Why not? Let's just have world peace. Solve it. Would you rather be dumb to the point of retardation or mean to the point of being destructive to others? Oof, that's a difficult one. Mean. I mean, mean is mean to the point of being destructive. Don't know what that means. Does that just mean upsetting their feelings? Does it mean people just don't like being around you? I don't know. I'd rather be mean. Being retarded is no help at all. At least if you're mean, you're not stupid. I mean, I don't like people who are mean, but I mean, being mean is probably better than being stupid, to be honest. Would you rather be able to eat whatever you want or have perfect bowel movement? Eat whatever I want. Because if I can eat whatever I want, I probably wouldn't have bad bowels. If that makes any sense, because I can eat it. Yeah. That makes more sense. Would you rather be friends with a dragon or be a dragon? Be friends with a dragon. Yeah. If I'm friends with a dragon, it's cooler. If I am a dragon, then I'm somebody else's friend. No, I'd rather be friends with a dragon, because then I'm in control more, I think. Well, I don't know. Maybe. That's all I can do with the would you... Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's a good answer. I think we've done enough would you rathers. Actually, you know what? Let's do another one. Would you rather have a oh, there's no more good would you rathers. Never mind. That's fun for a bit. The would you rathers are always interesting. There's always some form of depravity on there, but not much depravity on there today, if I'm honest. The depravity is taking a step back. Kevin Owens! Yay. Kevin Owens, yeah, I don't really know. He's awesome. And that means that since we know who he is, we are definitely worth his time. If we didn't know who he was, then we probably wouldn't be worth his time anyway. Oh, God, Kevin Owens is cool. You know what I like about Kevin Owens, though, is the fact that I love the bit when he fluffs his line on NXT and he goes, "I've been dealing with a lot of delusional See, I've been dealing with so many delusional people these days. That's starting to sound like Hideo Itami trying to speak English, and he just completely rebounds in such a Kevin Owens way. It's awesome. Yeah. Plus, he's just one of the best wrestlers. He's got like one of the most varied movesets on the entire planet. He's just, I mean, if he goes up against a big guy, he can just do standing moonsaults and sentons and stuff and dominate in that way. He goes up against a smaller guy, no problem. Just hit some pop-up power bombs, all sorts of various slams, that inverted suplex he does from the ropes. Yeah, he is pretty awesome. It's a shame, though, that he had to come out below Cena. Not so keen about that. I think that he missed a trick there, because now Kevin Owens is just another part of the roster where he could have been the guy that beat John Cena and could have been the next big star of that company. But whatever the WWE wants to do, you know, that big company that does wrestling, whatever they want to do, they'll do. So, yeah. I think I did a really good job of replying to your comment there, Max, even though I don't really know what you wanted to say about Kevin Owens. But that's awesome. So, yeah, thank you for commenting. So, Ronda Rousey versus Justina, whatever her name is. I can't remember all the parts of her name. Ronda Rousey versus Cyborg. So this match has been talked about for a while because everybody talks about Ronda Rousey's dominance and how she may be a bit too physical for the other women around her or too skilled. And they always talk about, is she going to fight Cyborg? Because Cyborg as well, I don't think Cyborg's undefeated. Don't think that's a thing. But Cyborg is also incredibly big, incredibly physical. I mean, there's been, I think Rousey launched attacks on her, saying that she might be a bit roidy, but I don't think the Cyborg is that roidy. There you go. It doesn't. I don't think she is, but you know, Ronda threw that one out there. Yeah, I think. It's been a bit of a rivalry developing, even though it hasn't had really a chance. I don't think Rousey is fighting her next. Apparently, she's rumored to be fighting Miesha Tate next, again for the third time. Don't really know what to make of that match. I think she's got Miesha Tate's number if that match does happen, because I mean they had that first match, which wasn't in UFC, and in the first round, Ronda Rousey broke Miesha Tate's arm. And then they did the rematch actually in UFC. I think it's the first ever time a women's bout headlined UFC. And it was longer, more competitive, but in the end, she got the armbar on and Miesha Tate didn't get her arm broken this time. She tapped out too fast for that to happen. And then, for a third time, I don't know. I mean, the match might be quite competitive. You never know. Miesha Tate, now that she's had 2 matches with her, might work out a way to avoid the armbar. That said, the last match Ronda Rousey had ended with a KO. So, yeah. I don't know. I guess why not have a hat trick of matches, I guess. But I think if she went up against Cyborg, you might get a much more competitive match. Because I don't believe Rousey could just physically bully Cyborg around. It's a bit like how Serena Williams dominates tennis, because Serena Williams is just so much more powerful than the other women. She can just bully them around a bit more. And other women have to play completely out of their skins to beat Williams. If Williams is on a game, she can basically dominate anybody because she can just power people off the court. And Rousey, it's a similar thing, really. I mean, for her weight division, she's quite big. I mean, she's not a big girl, but I mean, she's very strong, very physical, and she can muscle people into that armbar, even if they don't want to be in that armbar. It doesn't make a difference. I mean, her technique is fantastic as well. Don't get me wrong, but she's also incredibly strong. So once you combine brutality, physicality with technique, you got dominance, and that's what you have with Ronda Rousey. I think if she went up against Cyborg, I reckon to a degree, you would take the physicality equation away from Ronda. I think it'd be a more even fight. in terms of on paper, anyway. So it's interesting that they've announced this one. I must admit, I would quite like to see that fight, because when you look at Ronda and her opponents are normally smaller than her, and if she went up against Cyborg, that wouldn't be the case. So I don't know. I would like to see Ronda have to deal with that. But then again, she still has a lot of technique. So I reckon Ronda Rousey would still win, but I reckon you'd have a much more physical confrontation, much more difficult fight. So for sure, it'll be a good match. I think it's one of the matches that people want to see. So yeah, brief thoughts about that one. So last topic. Let's drink some coffee. There you go. That's a show done. The last topic was literally drink some coffee. No, it's not. It's not that. I lie. It's not. It's the McLaren. It's McLaren, basically. Rather than talk about a sort of like a car which is really pretty much slated, we're going to be talking about the McLaren 650S is replacement, because at the moment they are referring to it as the P14. So they're not going down this number of like 6, because at the moment they've got their ultimate car, which is a number with 1 after it, the F1 P1, and then they have their other lines, which are like, which there's no real naming strategy, but it has been numbered for a bit now. I.e., you've got the 650S, you've got the 675 LT, and you've got the 570, which is their baby version. And now they're going to be changing the middle of the road car to the P14, which makes me wonder if they're going to start going down the whole road of P something, you know, i.e. P1 is the number 1 car, and then maybe the P5 for like the middle, you know. So that's interesting. That's not really that interesting. It's just a thing, and I'm just waffling on to try and make some time out of this. They're talking about it coming out in 2018, and the car's going to be part of McLaren's strategy to bring out a new model every year. That's what they want to do. So they have a pretty high turnover of models. That sounds good, but the problem with that is, I reckon it would be clever on their part to try and avoid oversaturating the market with new McLaren models, because the thing with McLaren cars is they're quite exclusive. They are exclusive cars, so it would be dumb, in my opinion, to oversaturate the market, because if you oversaturate the market with like little super minis, not as much of a problem. They're super minis. They're meant to be sort of like dominant, but because there's so many different choices. But with supercars, I don't know. I don't think oversaturating the market with supercars is a good idea, if I'm honest. But there you go. That's my take on that. At the moment, there's only, I mean, in terms of like performance, let's be honest, you can't really talk about performance. But what we can say is, if it wants to be faster than the 488 GTB, which it probably will be, because that's just how McLaren will do things. They want to like one up everybody else. You can expect it to do 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds, and probably do north of 205 miles per hour. If it wants to be faster than the 488, that has to happen. In some ways, if it wants to be faster than the 650S, that has to happen. To that end, we're expecting it to have the traditional McLaren carbon fiber tub chassis, which they've been using for quite some time now, just honed and refined. And it's also expected to have a version of the 3.8-litre turbocharged engine, which is basically in the 570, the MP412C, the 650S, and the 675 LT. I mean, all those cars have the 3.8 turbocharged engine, just tuned and fettled with to different degrees. And they're expected to keep going with the 3.8 turbocharged engine, because it is a very, very good engine. It provides good economy. It provides good emissions. And I'm talking in relatively for a supercar here. And it also provides an incredibly good power and torque output, which is necessary if you want to go fast. And it's a very, very good all-rounded engine. So I'd be surprised if they don't ditch it. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the P1 actually had 3.8, didn't it? No, actually, I think the P1 actually had a bigger petrol engine than that. Now that I think about it, never mind. It's also worth noting that McLaren are going to go for a completely clean slate, styling-wise, and it's expected to get quite extreme styling. Quite what that means in terms of McLaren, don't know, but it's going to look different from the P1 because at the moment a lot of the cars have the very P1 style nose. And this P14, as it is going to have radically different styling to the McLaren P1. So that's kind of a good thing because at the moment, the McLaren range is looking like P1, medium-sized P1, P1 with a slightly longer tail, baby P1. It looks like the same car over and over and over again. So the fact that they're talking about actually revolutionizing their styling a bit, good thing. That's very good for McLaren, because we don't want cars that just look the same. Although, I mean, the P1, it's a nice chassis for a hypercar, but I don't know, tuning the look down for all your junior models is just going to make the thing boring. So I'd like them to do the new styling, and at the moment that's all I can really say about the P14, except for the fact that it'll probably cost close to £200,000, possibly more, definitely more for the Spider is what we're thinking at the moment. But yeah, it sounds exciting for sure, and that'll be apparently be coming in 2018. So it sounds like an epic machine. And unfortunately, that's it for the show today. That's all I have, I'm afraid. Sorry I couldn't plan this a bit more. I wanted to, but sometimes at the moment things just don't seem to be possible. Like work's kind of dominating everything. But I am going to find out what's up with that comment tracker so that I can track comments in the stream and actually try and respond to them on time. But for now, I'm the Chun, you on, and thank you very much for watching. I hope you like and subscribe, and I hope you will join me again next week. Bye!